What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? I'm super excited today because I have some individuals on here that just are some huge Bird fans, and then we got the old Charger fan down there. But we're super excited for this week's content. We got a special guest tonight. You guys already know Sunshine State Eagle. We got Bird Gang in the house, and we got Dice Wheel 21. But before I get to them, I gotta say thank you to our sponsors. Thank you, Kelly Bell Graphics, that does all of our t-shirts, the wrappings of the cars, the signs, the logos, all of that stuff. Thank you so much for supporting us. And if you need the same thing done, go down to Kelly Bell Graphics, go get your stuff, and tell them that the Sports Lounge sent you. We got number one sports fan to get all your memorabilia, get all of your jerseys. I mean, there's only 4 teams left now on the road to Super Bowl, and go get your memorabilia. And you're probably going to want to go cop you an Eagles jersey because we're probably going to be headed straight to the Super Bowl. I'm not predicting anything thus so far. We're going to get deeper into it, but just in case, you're going to want to get it anyways. It's the most winning team outside of the Chiefs and the Patriots. And their number one sports fan is in Visalia, Hanford, Visalia, Hanford, Tulare, and LA. Go tell them number one sports fan, or tell them that the Sports Lounge sent you when you get your memorabilia. Last but not least, one of the last but not least is Martino Construction. You get a demo done and you tell them that the Sports Lounge sent you, they're gonna give you $1,000 off. Yeah, because of us. So go tell them that we sent you. And then we're powered by the Mogul brand and the Diamond Collection. Super excited for the show, man. I'm ready to get this thing going. And yeah, let's welcome our guest on tonight, Bird Gang. What's going on, Bird Gang?
What's going on, fellas? Not much, man. Trying to stay warm out here in the Midwest. It's a little chilly.
But Bird,
I hear you. How long you been an Eagles fan, my guy? Don't say all my life. Say you gotta give me.
No, man. No, brother.
All my life.
Since McNabb got drafted in '99.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been a fan.
I'm a 2004.
Yeah, I remember growing up, man, and I grew up on the west side of Cleveland, and everybody around me was a Browns fan, and I'm just like, man, I couldn't grab a hold of it. And I started watching the Philadelphia games because they used to come on, and I fell in love with them, man, and I've been a fan ever since.
Yeah. Chosen, can I just say, can we be thankful that Bird Gang made such an important decision on his life at such an early age? God bless. God bless.
Let's cap it up for him on that. Nah, but I was actually born into a Dallas Cowboy family. And it was a little bit different. I like rivalry, and so one day I was watching McNabb, not only because he looks like me, but the other fact was, they ended up going to the Super Bowl the next year against Tom Brady, and I thought that was huge. And even though we lost, I loved the way that they played. But I really fell in love with the Philadelphia Eagles, like a diehard. Like I was a fan, like I was cheering for them. That's my team. I got the jerseys, stuff like that when McNabb was there. But I really started learning about the team and about the game when Vic was there. Vic is like my favorite all time. Even when he was on the Falcons, I still love Vic. He's my all-time favorite player. If anybody was to ask me, it's Michael Vick. He's my favorite player of all time.
Great athlete.
Yeah. And just how elusiveness he was with the ball, and just the takeoff. It just excited me. There was something in me. It was like
he started the mobile quarterback discussion.
He changed the game. He was Steph Curry of the NFL. You know what I mean? Steph 100%. Curry changed the NBA. You know what I'm saying? It was the same thing because you never seen a player like Michael Vick. Yeah, you had your Warren Moons and a couple of the other guys, but they weren't doing what Mike Vick was doing.
I 100% agree. He walked so Lamar Jackson could run.
Absolutely.
100%. And so Love that for you. Love that for you. If you don't mind telling us like maybe a little bit more about yourself for the people that don't know you and where to find you if they want to find you, look at your content.
Oh yeah, you can find me. Right now. I just started out about a month ago. You can find me on TikTok, Bird Gang 432, I believe it is, or 437. Just started making content. Actually, I met these two guys right here, Chosen and Sunshine. Real cool dudes. Got to check their content out too. They make good content. Man,
Appreciate it.
I'm just a humble guy, man. I mind my business. I stay out of the way. I love sports, man. This is what I do. Even when I go to work, I talk sports with the guys. You know what I mean? I just love the NFL. I love the NBA. I'm just a sports head, man, and I just love having conversation and picking other people's brains because everybody, you may see the game in one view, but somebody else will bring a point and make you turn your head and look the other way and see that point of view, and then you just put it together and then it all starts to make sense.
Yeah, I think that's how me and I consider Sunshine like a good friend, but I think that's how me and him first started out. Like he sees the game a certain way, and I see it another way. I'm more of your like reality type of person that views it. I don't wear the hat at all. He knows I don't wear a hat. Like I know the flaws. Like you could say whatever about our team. Our team could be the greatest team, but I'll still find the flaws and be like, well, we got to improve here.
You got to take your heart out of it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, that's why me and Chosen got so close so quickly is because we view it in different ways because perspective is so important when it comes to football and life in general. Everybody's got a different perspective, and just because their perspective doesn't align with yours doesn't necessarily mean they're wrong and that you can't have an intellectual conversation with them. But at the end of the day, everyone we surround ourselves with is able to take off the fan cap and look at the game through not only an analytical lens, but a neutral lens. And like Chosen said, we are the best X in football, but we need to do this better if we want to beat X team. And I'm just using it as a hypothetical, but I think that's why I've surrounded myself with individuals like Chosen, and I completely agree. I consider him a personal friend. In Bird Gang, you're definitely in that conversation as well. I'm glad I ran into you as well, Dupree. Obviously, you already know. But I think that's a great point.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So enough with the kumbaya. Let's get to
some ball.
Let's talk about these birds.
Because we making it like a Hallmark movie at this point, but
not the Hallmark movie.
Let's get to the nitty gritty, man. Thank you so much for putting out your time. Time is the biggest commodity in life, and for you to give up your time to be here on with us, and so I'm so blessed, lucky, and fortunate. Thank you, Bird Gang.
I appreciate.
Hey guys,
me, man.
Yeah, for sure. Hey guys, TikTok is back.
It survived.
There's a lot of. It was gone for like 17 hours only. But 17 hours.
That's people's lives. That's people's lives, man. That's
some people are like, oh my god, I gotta go back to work.
Yeah, I was happy that when I went to Target there was toilet paper and water. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, TikTok is back. We don't know what's really going on with TikTok. They said Facebook bought it. They say Mr. Beast bought it. Do we really care? We get to go live. We get to do the things that we're doing, and super happy. I'm live right now on TikTok, but I'm also live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, X. What am I missing, man? We're on all streamings right now, streaming all at one time, spontaneous. So if I don't get to your guys' comments there in the comments, I can see you up there. I might shout you out. But if not, we'll get to it a little bit later. If you want an immediate answer, just join us on the YouTube. It's the Sports Lounge Media. Click that in. Go to our logo as you can see it, and you can go put your comments as we go. But we're going to get started with the first question. Guys, we're going to start with the first question, man. First question is we're going to start with the playoff recap and what we've seen out of the teams this week. We're going to pick one game, and then out of that one game, we're just gonna dive in and have an intellectual conversation if we can. So let's start with our newbie. I was gonna say new booty, but we'll say newbie.
Hold on, bro.
No Diddy. But
He said we'll chill.
Pause, brother.
No Diddy, bro. But let's start with a game. Let's start with a game. What's a game that stood out to you? That we want to. I mean, there wasn't too many games that played this weekend, but there was 4 games, right? What game stood out to you? And let's chat about it.
I don't want to sound biased, but I want to talk about that Philadelphia game.
We can start there. We can start there.
And the game, yes, we won the game, but we made so many mistakes during that game that I don't think anybody really talks about, that they don't point out. So let's start in the beginning. Let's start from the very beginning of that game. The pass play concept from Kellen Moore, it has to be better. If you go back and you watch some of those routes, you got 3 receivers in the same area, but you can't throw the ball because all they're doing is sitting back in the zone. And if you throw the ball, it's going to get picked off or batted down. And I got to talk about Jalen Hurts real quick. I know he gets a lot of slack for his 128 yards, and all we do is rely on Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts won't win us the game. That's fine. You can say that. But when Josh Allen does it, I don't want to hear anybody praise him anymore, because he just did the same thing.
Thank you.
Okay. You can't say that it's okay for one player to do it, but if somebody else does it, it's not good. And the knock that I had on Jalen Hurts, that he has to change and he has to get it fixed, is you cannot take unnecessary sacks and knock us out of field goal range. He did it twice in that game before it started snowing and before the injury. You take a 13-yard sack and you took a 9-yard sack and you knocked us out of field goal range. You left. To me, if you throw the ball away, you get the one he got out of the pocket. It could have threw the ball away. Just throw the ball away, live, and kick the field goal. Just play the next down. Just kick the field goal. Give us 3 points. I think that in his head, I feel like sometimes he thinks he has to make the home run play, but he doesn't need to do that. Just stay within the offense. I understand that they're telling you not to turn the ball over, don't force the ball. That's fine to do that. But you have to throw the ball away instead of knocking us out of field goal range to take dumb sacks. That's just me on how I viewed the game, because if you think about it, yeah, we won by, what was it, 8 points?
Yeah, I believe so. 22, 29 or 28, something like that.
Okay, so you left 6 points on the field from the 2 missed field goals. And then Jake Elliott, you got to be better, man. Jake Elliott, if you're watching, please make your extra points. He left 2 points on the field too. And it's not a knock on Jalen, but the Josh Allen and the Jalen Hurts, they got to stop doing this, man. The man threw for 127 yards. Yeah, he ran 2 in. But Jalen Hurts threw for 128 yards, had a better QBR. But it's a problem when Jalen does it. Jalen can't throw the ball. I don't understand how it's good for this guy, but it's bad for this guy.
Media bias.
Well, I understand. Yeah, I understand completely why. It's because it's Jalen Hurts. We got to get back to that Jalen Hurts doesn't do exactly what people expect him to do, and that's to throw for 300 yards. And we got to get to the fact that back in the day when when Terrell Davis and Shannon Sharp played together, they ran the ball. They ran that same similar system. Nobody was saying nothing back when the Niners were playing last year and they had CMC. People are not saying nothing when Lamar Jackson has Derrick Henry behind him and he's throwing for less yards. At the end of the day, what Jalen Hurts is doing is he's winning you the football game. And that's all we're asking from. That's all we're asking from Jalen Hurts, is we're asking Jalen Hurts to not make mistakes. Don't go out there and force anything. Don't throw a pick. Don't turn over the football. But one thing that Jalen Hurts does have to do is, I agree, is throw away that football. We cannot take a sack in the end zone. We cannot take a sack that puts us out of reach where we could get a first down. And Jalen Hurts has to make those type of decisions. And even if he's looking to run and sees a defender that's about to knock him on his butt, he needs to throw it away instead of taking that type of sack and only getting back to the line of scrimmage. At the end of the day, you play another down. Let's get us in better field position, and that's what we have to do. But going back to the point of being is that Jalen Hurts is never going to get what we want, because that's what they want. That's what you got.
Right.
Everybody else outside of the Birds want. That's what they want to see. That is him to throw for 300 and 4 touchdowns. But at the end of the day, that's not our system, and that's not how Jalen works. Jalen Hurts, I think that Jalen Hurts is more like a Chris Paul on the court. He's a general. He's a leader. He's a person that can put people in position to win. And at the end of the day, that's all we're asking from Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we have A.J. Brown. I apologize that we have Devontae Smith. And at the end of the day, I'm sorry we have Saquon Barkley and the number 3, 4 best offensive line. I apologize. No, I do not. I don't apologize. You know
I was
why?
going to say.
Because,
Hey,
no, you know how I do this. You know how I do this. I don't apologize. You know why? Then go get a better GM. Go get somebody who can build your team the way that we built our team. We can't apologize on the way we win. We win because of the way that we set up our team. At the end of the day, that's how we set up our team. Just like we had a bad defense, we got Vic in the house. We made some adjustments, and we're the number 1 defense. I'm not going to apologize for Jalen Carter coming in and smacking your quarterback and you're not able to convert. I'm not going to apologize for that. You know why? Then go get a better defense. Go get somebody who can build your team and go get you some coordinators just like we did. Hey, we had an off season too. So at the end of the day, do what you got to do. And we're not going to apologize for nothing because we are winning. And we always are going to be winners as long as we keep that mindset. And our boys are just as hungry as anybody else. But back to what you were saying, nobody's going to get the love. Jalen Hurts is not going to get the love unless he is Joe Burrow, period.
So real quick too, and it's so crazy because everybody puts that narrative out about Jalen Hurts only throwing for the 128 yards. But the crazy part is if A.J. Brown catches that football on that deep route that he dropped when he fell out of bounds, if he catches that ball, there you go. That's 200 yards. That puts him close to 200 yards. If A.J. Brown catches that ball on that 3rd and 6 when Jalen threw it between 3 defenders, there you go. You're at 220 yards right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There were
but outside of that
in that game.
But outside of that, he ran for 70 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for sure.
And a touchdown.
Talking about that. And a touchdown. And nobody talking about that. So yeah. Go ahead, Sunshine.
Yeah, so I want to go back to harken on the point of Jalen Hurts, guys. I'm talking to the chat. I'm talking to the viewers that aren't Eagles fans. Disrespectfully, we don't care. I promise we don't. Jalen Hurts is never going to win the game how you want him to win it. He's never going to give the media the sound bites they want him to give. Why? Because Jalen Hurts is concerned with winning. That's what he's worried about. Every week he goes into practice preparation and says, how can I get the Philadelphia Eagles to beat X team? And we're blessed. We're blessed, lucky, and fortunate to not have a quarterback that wants to go stat chase. Okay? At the end of the day, if Jalen needs to beat you by running for 100 on the ground, he can do that. If he needs to beat you by throwing 290 through the air, 27 points, 3 tutties, he can do that. Because at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts is not as bad a quarterback as the media wants to paint him. The problem is he will never win in the way they want him to win. So they try to paint him to be this bad quarterback or quote unquote has issues. And at the end of the day, I agree. I think Jalen does need to make quicker decisions with the football and not hold on to the football. He's got the luxury of playing behind the best offensive line in football, which gives him more time to make decisions. But sometimes I think he takes that for granted and holds on to the football for a little bit too long. A example being the sack or, getting sacked 9 yards out of field goal range. So at the end of the day, guys, I'm with Chosen. I'm not sorry that we have a team full of absolute stone cold killers at every position. Okay? If you want those guys, have your GM go get them. Jalen Hurts is going to do exactly what needs to be done to win the football game. And as an Eagles fan, I'm completely okay with that. But he could go throw for 20 yards. If we win that game, I'm going to be like, yep, that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback throwing 20 yards.
Yep.
Man, that whole Jalen thing, it's got me and Chosen a little ride.
Man, it does the same thing to me, man. It burns me up, man, because I just don't understand how it's okay for one player to do it, but the other one can't. That's why I hate the media, because if you're going to talk about these quarterbacks in certain ways, make sure you put them all in the same group. You can't move the goalposts for this quarterback or move the goalposts for that quarterback. Keep everybody in the center of it. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
but they're not.
and by the way,
they want to make it a competition when it comes down to it. It's got to be a competition for it either way. Even though Jalen did what he did for it, he's got 128. You got Saquon Barkley, just like just like Lamar has Derrick Henry. He got the two. It's now a running game instead of a passing game more than anything now this year. You got Derrick Henry, you got Saquon, you got other running backs that are doing a lot more than they've done last year. You got Montgomery and doing too with the 2-2 for the Lions when they had their going for them. So it's been more of a running game now as it is anyway. So that's why I don't see why they're talking like this anyway.
And this is good, and I'm glad that he brought this up because this is good for the sport of the game and how important it is to have a running back. And what Saquon and Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs and these guys are doing is increasing the value for the running back as well. So it's good for the league.
The top three rushers were the three running backs that nobody wanted to pay.
Yeah, 100%. So it opens them. Yeah, and opens the market. And Eckler's in that conversation. He was out there too.
Gibbs.
And he was out there, and look at him. He's in an NFC Championship. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. Hey, how you guys doing over there on TikTok? Appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining. Appreciate you guys. Hey, real quick, Bird Gang, I think you're coming in and out. You want to try to check the audio?
106 that he had during the game
check
as
the
well.
audio real quick, and then as we get into this next one, Dice, let's go with you real quick, man. What's a game that stuck out to you?
For me, it's Washington Lions, man. I've already been saying it before. Chosen, you've already known it before, but you guys don't know before. I've been saying that Jane has an easier route, but he still has shown out that he can play in this league as a rookie in the NFL. Even though CJ Stroud had his year for the playoffs and everything else, Jaden has upped the game for the playoffs. He's right now in a chance to be one of the only rookies to start in a Super Bowl if he gets past the Eagles. It's a big
if is a big word. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it's a big if, but this is the rookie we're talking about. Like, this is something you see in a Disney movie, or like Rookie of the Year. Like, he got the ball that just it's like Donovan McNabb's ball or Michael Vick's ball, and now he can run and pass and do anything he can, and just be running the whole thing. Like, you've never seen this before.
And what I would say is that and what I would say about that game is I'm not a Jaden Daniels hater. I actually showed a lot of love, and you both know this. Being in those different panels, I've always showed Jaden Daniels some love. I love his style of play. I love our culture and the fact that we're a running, with the running quarterback saying that we cannot do it. We're doing it. I love the fact that him just extending plays and doing what he got to do. But what I will say is the Washington Commanders have played two teams that are not the Philadelphia Eagles. But going back to that game with the Lions, Jared Goff, and I'm going to get into it with my game that I have picked, but Jared Goff was concussed in that game. And he came back and he played. He threw 3 picks, and those 3 picks led into points. So take those points off of the scoreboard. We're at 31-31, right? Granted, you probably would have scored another touchdown or a field goal, make it 34-31. But that puts it into a different perspective and a different ball game if he didn't throw those 3 picks. And I think that the defense, eventually, what I would say, and I've been saying this, right? Sunshine can fact check me, but I've been saying, eventually, next man up is not going to be enough, is what I said.
You ran out of the next man.
Yeah, you just ran out. And that type of thing is like, okay, now what do you do? Okay. And I just wasn't a believer in the Lions. I used to put trash cans and stuff like that. He's like, why you not picking the Lions? And stuff like that. I'm just not a believer in the Vikings and the Lions. I am a believer in the Packers, though. If fully healthy, I was a believer in the Packers, and I was wrong, standing in the paint. But at the end of the day, I still didn't think that they're the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think they're at that caliber. But I think that team, I think the Packer team was actually better than those other teams if it wasn't for the Love injuries.
I agree.
All that to say this, because they do have a Gibbs, a wonderful, wonderful running back, great running back. He also has a person behind him named Montgomery. And you've seen in this last game, they didn't use Montgomery as much. And I think that failed them. knowing that the Washington Redskins or Washington Commanders, I think I said it right the first time, but I'll say it.
You said it right the first time.
I'll recorrect
change their
myself.
name back anyway, so just keep it anyway.
I'll say the Commanders. The Washington Commanders are 30th in rush defense. Why aren't you running the football?
And Gibbs was having his way.
Those guys.
Yeah. Gibbs went over 200 on his own.
Yeah, regardless of
right.
you still could run him in different ways.
But this is another not good take that nobody is gonna like, and it's gonna be a hard pill to swallow for most people to hear this. If you're a Lions fan or not a non-ball knower, is I don't know if you guys probably won't agree, and that's perfectly fine. That's what we up here for. But I don't think Gibbs by himself is as good of a running back. I'm not saying now let me put it in context because people are gonna kind of nitpick at what I'm about to say. So Gibbs is a good running back. He's easily top 15, top 10 running back in the league by himself, right? But to be an elite as he was this year, he needed Montgomery. He needed that 1-2 punch. The other example is the Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott when they was in a little prime, right? They had that 1-2 punch and they killing folks. A lot of people had that. Eagles had that with Ajayi. Remember when we had Ajayi, they A-train. We had
Ajayi and Blount.
Yeah, and Blunt, LeGarrette Blunt.
Blunt.
Yeah, we had that. And it worked out perfect. We won a freaking Super Bowl, right? So, but what I'm saying is Montgomery by himself, I don't think he could get it done by himself with the things that I have seen. Now, he did it late.
Or Gibbs?
I mean, Gibbs. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for correcting me. Gibbs. I think that I'm talking about a full season, not a couple of games where you got to get film and figure him out. I'm saying a full season. I think he'll get worn out, worn down, and it'll be hard for him getting into the playoffs. I don't think he's that kind of player. Can he be? Maybe. I don't see it. Maybe you guys do. But I see him the best that he could be because he's not going to get those 3 yards. He's not going to get those 4 yards north and south. He's going to get out on these edges and get those long yards. I don't think he's just that kind of running back. But that's another thing. That's another spiel that I have for that. They ran out of defense. They didn't use Laporta like they should have. Goff, he was concussed, and it cost them with them 3 interceptions. Now to take, Washington did have a great game. They did exactly what they needed to do to win that game, and they won it. Can't take that away from them. Now they're in the NFC Championship, and guess what? The head coach and the offensive coordinator from the Cowboys are now meeting in the NFC Championship, and we can't take that away. Cowboys suck. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to make a quick comment on Gibbs. I think that Gibbs has the athletic ability to one day be that guy, but in part, I've had people come into some of my lives and some of my panels saying that he's as good as Saquon is right now, and that's ignorant. That's pure. Chat, look at me in my face. He is not Saquon Barkley right now. Please don't believe that, because at the end of the day,
Nelson's in here.
Nelson, and you know how I rock with you, Nelson. You know how I feel. You know we're good. We're like this. Gibbs is not Barkley. Barkley is in a whole different world. And this isn't me saying that I don't think Gibbs can get there. He can. He's just not there yet. And I just wanted to make a quick point on it because I think, that sometimes we do look at the 1-2 punch and say, Gibbs needs Montgomery. And I think that question will get answered if the Lions move on from Montgomery. But if they don't, we'll never know. I don't think Dan Campbell wants to run that kind of system. Like a one running back, like that's my guy's system.
And if nobody, and I'm gonna let Bird Gang take over this, but if nobody believes me, that's because you never watched a Sonic movie before. Sonic always needed Knuckles.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
So real quick to that game. Hey, is my audio better?
It's coming in and out, but we can hear you.
Take those headphones off. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's probably, probably his fault.
So I think at the end of the day, Detroit lost that game because they stopped running the football. If they run the football
just run the ball down their throat. You're going to wear them down. We've proven that the first time we played it. We proved it the second time because Saquon had 106 yards in the first quarter. That's here nor there. Now to the Jahmyr Gibbs thing. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's probably a top 15 back. I don't know. The thing with Gibbs is like Chosen said, I think he has to become a better runner inside the tackles, in between the tackles, running north and south. You can try to use your speed as much as you want to get on the outside, but when these guys are 300 pounds and they're running as fast as you are, it's hard to get out there. You know what I mean? I love Gibbs. I thought Gibbs was a great pickup for them. And to Sunshine's point, Dan Campbell can't run just one running back because David Montgomery will not make it through a full season without getting hurt.
Right.
He proved that in Chicago. He couldn't stay healthy. And then he goes to Detroit, and he's been hurt the last 2 years in Detroit, too.
That's a good point.
So he can't – he's not – Jahmyr Gibbs is not Saquon Barkley. I heard the Sunshine. I heard the same thing. I've heard probably about 4 or 5 people say the same thing. He is not Saquon Barkley. It's not even close. David Montgomery needs Jahmyr Gibbs as much as Jahmyr Gibbs needs David Montgomery. Let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is. It's not a knock on neither one of them. I'm not knocking neither one of them.
No.
But you got to call a spade a spade.
Yeah. All right, Sunshine, what game you got, man? Which one do you want?
Yeah, so since my man went with the Washington Detroit game, I'll pick a different one. I'll pick my backup game, but that was a good game. In my opinion, it was my number one. I'll make a quick point and then I'll move on to mine. I was very surprised in the Commanders' ability to force turnovers, and then again, I thought about it, not that surprised. Jared Goff, we know Jared Goff turns the football over. I should have thought of that. That was on me. We're gonna get back to the lab. Anyway, we're gonna go to my game. So, guys, I'm gonna do this really quick. I think the Chiefs and the Texans, right?
Damn, you took my game.
Listen, Houston's defense is on to something.
This game, baby.
Houston's defense is on to something. Their edges are very, very good. They're aggressive. They get after it. I felt like they did a great job making sure Patrick Mahomes stayed, stressed. Although I will say the Chiefs have done a pretty good job fixing that tackle issue. But at the end of the day, I still firmly believe that Houston's defense gave them a chance in that game. What killed them in that game, right? The offense couldn't turn red zone opportunities into touchdowns. That absolutely killed them in that game. When you're playing Patrick Mahomes and the NFL refs, Kansas City Chiefs, you have to play perfect. You have to go in.
You said it right. You said it right.
You said it right the first time.
You have no room for error. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, the roughing the passer on Will Anderson, where he put his body into him, the softest call I've probably ever seen, softer than hospital cotton. I'm not going to say that changed the course of the game, but come on, guys. Then you fast forward. You got Patrick Mahomes.
It does. No, it does.
It does.
It definitely does. And I'll tell you why in a minute, but go ahead.
Right. It's a 15-yard penalty and a first down.
Yeah.
Automatic.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you got Patrick Mahomes, who is a willing runner. Chiefs fans, when he stays in bounds like that, he is no longer cradled, give him a pacifier and warm milk baby. He is a willing runner. And he's waiting till defenders get close to him, and then he's selling it. And I get it. He's playing the system. All quarterbacks do it. He's the LeBron of the NFL, and I love LeBron. That's not a hate on my man. LeBron, if you're watching, you're my guy. But listen. Listen,
wait a minute.
Bron's my guy. Bron's my guy. But
okay.
When Patrick Mahomes does things like that and then defenders get penalized for it, it's already hard to play defense, guys. Now you're asking these guys to stop on a dime or just not hit the quarterback. Then we move on forward in the game where Patrick Mahomes was tiptoeing the sideline and then stopped so that he could get knocked out of bounds. Like, that's the softest stuff I've ever seen in my life, man. I hate those kind of calls. I hate that the Chiefs benefit from those kind of calls. And the Chiefs are not the most penalized team in football. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the Chiefs benefit from the most game-changing penalties in football.
Yes.
Not that they're the most, they get the most calls not gone their way. We're saying that when the game's on the line and everything matters, yes, Patrick Mahomes is good. But he's also getting a little bit of help because he's the golden boy.
I.e. that Cincinnati Bengals game, there's no way that I am throwing that flag on that bang-bang play with the safety and that wide receiver. There's no way.
No way.
There's no way you throw the flag there. But because it's Kansas City and they're at home, they're going to throw the flag.
Right.
There's no
and
way
I think,
you throw the flag against Bradbury on that route in the Super Bowl.
They hadn't called it. They hadn't called it that whole Super Bowl. They waited till that moment, bro. That irritates me to
That
this
play
day.
bothered me so much because that ball wasn't even catchable. The ball hit the back padding in the stands. How do you call a holding penalty there?
Had to make sure.
Here's another question that you guys got to ask. Well, let me respond. Let me respond to what Sunshine go, and then I'll go into mine. So game-changing calls. Like, we're not saying the most penalized game-changing calls. In that particular moment, they were facing 3rd and 8, right? Out of field goal range, gonna punt the ball. Throw the flag. Not only are they in field goal range, but now they have an opportunity to extend a drive, which they did and scored a touchdown. That's the first thing. Next thing is you tiptoe around, then become a runner, and they collide. They hit each other. The two Texans hit each other, and they get penalized for that, right? So the question always remains. Now, getting back to my question is the way that the NFL works and the way that the defense this how this game is supposed to go is the offense runs the football. The offense goes and catches the football and is ready. The assignment from the defense is to allow force and pressure to create fumbles, interceptions, back down, pass. And also go in there and sack the quarterback, right?
Correct.
Create individual things. They cannot do that if you are calling these type of flags. They're now adjusting to that. And how can I force anything in this game if you're just going to call a penalty on me? So it does change the way that you play the game. In my head as a cornerback, it does change the way that I set up against each receiver on the Chiefs. Because then anything that I do that can be anything like a little hook or a small little turn or anything is going to be called. And especially when you're coming after Patrick Mahomes, it's hard to force out strip sacks, fumbles, things like that. If my job as a defensive player is to do that, is to create force. I cannot force. I cannot play defense no more. So that takes away from the game, and it also takes away the integrity of the NFL. We gotta do something about that, and the way to change that is we got to go to New York or be able to challenge those plays. If we're able to challenge
100%.
those plays, if we're able to challenge those plays, or to go back to New York and then view it and look at it and come up with a solution, then that's the only way we get away from some of those things that are ridiculous. If we don't do that, we don't fix this game, the Chiefs are going to go on a 6 Super Bowl championship straight. Like it's getting ridiculous at this point, and the world sees it. That's the problem.
I'm glad you say that. And I'm going to and my thing is this. I know these guys get fined when they get these roughing the passers. You guys call me what you want to call me, chat viewers. If I know my defender already doesn't stand a chance, damn it, I'm sending him. I said, you know what? Make him pay for it. I want you to hit him with the entirety of your body. I want you to put out. I'm telling him to go and lay the wood. Make him regret being a willing runner. Because I was talking to my best friend about this. If Patrick Mahomes did what he did when Ray Lewis played football, he'd woke up this morning, because he would have took a lick so bad that he would have never wanted to do that again. The game is just moving in a soft direction, and I can't stand it.
Hey, you know what's funny? Did you see what Vontaze Burfict tweeted on X, the linebacker that used to play for the Bengals?
For the Bengals, yeah.
He said, put me out there. I'll go out there and lay him out. He said, I'll make him never want to play football again. I mean, somebody, at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to tell their player, hit him, we'll deal with the penalty as long as it's in the right situation. You don't do it with the game. You're going to have to let him know that you can't just run freely. We're going to hit you. And that's what it is. Nobody wants to touch him.
And don't get me wrong, this isn't me endorsing violence or like saying, aim for his head or aim for his knee. No. Just lay him out. I want you to, in the cleanest way you can, give him everything you got. Set the tone early.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm rebuttaling that. Like Landon said, he said, what we want is violence. Let's go.
You know what? Let's go. Actually, I take back what I said. Back what I said. Send him to somewhere.
We got the Rock and Stone Cold on top right now.
That's what he said.
It doesn't matter.
And I'll tell you something, brother.
Yeah. Nah. Hey. I'm just gonna touch on that Ravens and Bills game. Hey, look at the Ravens threw 2 picks that cost them. They did what they were supposed to do. They drove the football. The Ravens went down. Tried to get the 2-point conversion, didn't convert that, and unfortunately they didn't go into overtime and win that football game. So at the end of the day, they did everything that they were supposed to, but they didn't score the football enough against the Bills. They did have a solid game in the defense of keeping them not scoring so much and being able to score in bunches, but they didn't do enough as far as them offensively getting them to where they need to. I think they should have ran Derrick Henry probably just a little bit more, and they should have relied on more touches. Yeah, and they probably should have relied a little bit more on Likely than they should on Andrews.
Yes.
Go ahead. How many touches did he have?
16.
Derrick Henry. For me, that's not enough. Saquon's getting 26 a game right now.
He had 16 touches in that game.
That's why I said they should have gave it to him a little bit more.
There's no one on the Bills big enough to hit him.
No, he should have touched it at least. I think he should have touched it at least 30 to 33 times in that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's built for it.
Yeah, he's built for it. So that was one of the things. But the other thing is rely more on Likely than I would on Mark Andrews on that play, because in the Pittsburgh game, he did the same exact thing the Ravens did in the end zone, and he dropped that pass. I think that they should have used that. I think they were onto that anyways, and I think that they should have just reversed that and threw it the opposite way and gave it to Likely. They probably would have scored those 2 points, but we can't rely on just the 2 points. They had opportunities in that game to score and go ahead. They also had 2 picks. You got to play a cleaner game than that, especially when you're playing against the Buffalo Bills, and especially when you're playing this high caliber offense and going into the next round. You have to play a cleaner game than that, and that goes with the Lions too. You in the playoffs, you got to make at least less mistakes as you can, or enough for you to win a ball game. And so that's all I'm going to do with that. Can Washington beat the Philadelphia Eagles?
They can.
Can they beat us?
They can. They can beat us. What they'll do is I'll start, because what they'll do is they'll take Jaden Daniels and they'll do what they did in the second meeting. They want Jaden Daniels to get out in space and make people miss and be a threat in the running game. That's Jaden Daniels in the first meeting against us had 6 touches for 18 yards. Okay. He was not a threat on the ground. The second time, okay, he had 8 touches for 80 yards. So that's 10 yards every time he decided to take off and run. That's a problem, right? That's an issue. We have to be able to contain him. If not, it's going to be a long day, because then when you're worried about Jaden Daniels being a willing runner, that's when, corners are like, oh, wait, I got to get back, to keep the big run play. Then you got guys like Terry and Ertz running downfield without coverage. So at the end of the day, I think this game is going to come down to, can the Washington Commanders get Jaden Daniels going early where he's running around, making us double think, and they need to stack the box. Any defensive coordinator that is playing the Eagles should stack the box and force Jalen Hurts to beat you with his arm. That's my opinion. That's what I would do as a DC. Yes, we as Eagle fans know Jalen can get that done. But if I'm a DC, I'm going to bet more on Jalen than I am Saquon, because Saquon will take the game away from you in a snap. 78 yards to the crib. So they have to do all those things, and then they wake up and realize it was a dream, and the Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think really what it's going to come down to is, I think our offensive line has to play better than what it did against the Rams. That was absolute. Jalen, don't get me wrong. Like I said in the beginning, Jalen Hurts took those unnecessary sacks, but our offensive line didn't play very well either. But Sunshine, to your point, that first game, Jaden he had those broken ribs. I think that's why you didn't see him move.
Right.
But see, if I'm Vic, I would run more of a dime package. I think me and Sunshine had this conversation once before. Is I would almost put another DB on the field to spy Jaden, either that or have him blitz, because you can't let him get outside of that pocket, because if you're running a zone and everybody's 10 yards down the field, you're giving this man a free lane to run through every time. And you got to be able to contain him. Yeah, I tell everybody, I am a JD5 fan. I like JD5. JD5 is going to be a superstar in this league. Hear me again, chat. Everybody listening. JD5 is going to be a superstar in the NFL. It's not a question. But he is still a rookie quarterback. I feel like him coming into the link, pressure's on him. 3 o'clock, that number one defense. I think we'll come out with the win. But could we get upset? I don't know.
It runs through Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. If Jaden Daniels is having a great game and Vic Fangio doesn't have an answer for him, they could definitely win the game. Without question. If he does not have a game plan for him, we could lose the game.
Yeah, and I can see that too, and I see you guys' perspective on that. But at the same point, I will say, somebody in the chat said Commanders playing with house money. Colton, you guys know Colton, saying that Commanders are playing with house money, and I get it. The pressure's all on Philly, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
We have the best NFL team right now. Offense and defense. So we are playing with that. But at the same point, to your point, is he's not going to score 5 touchdowns like he did when we lost Jalen Hurts. So the question always remains is, okay, so then what happens? If he doesn't score 5 touchdowns, what happens next? Because last game they said Scary Terry was the best guy they had, and he wasn't their number one receiver. Brown was.
Right.
Granted, he had the yards. He had some yards, but
87.
he wasn't the main focus, right? It was 98 yards from Brown. So
yeah, at the
end of the day, I think that the only thing that I am worried about is the 3rd and 3s, the 4th and 2s.
Those are the backbreakers. Those are the backbreakers.
And getting him off the field early.
Yeah.
If we only could do that, I think we're fine. I think we're totally fine. And I think this game can get out of hand, and it could be similar to the first quarter or when we played them the second time.
It's a good game. Actually, I'm glad you brought up that point. I meant to bring up 3rd down. That's a really good point.
Yeah. They have to, at the end of the day, we have to get off the field. We have to get off the field.
Yeah. We can't let them extend drives. We can't let them dictate the clock. We have to do that. That's going to be our job, right? And that is another point that I would make that we didn't do in the second game against them. We got off the field early. We had our defense constantly on there. They had the opportunity to score the football more. We didn't. You know why? Because they put everybody in the box and they forced Kenny Pickett to throw in a game that he wasn't even ready for.
You can't tell Commander fans that. They don't believe that.
Yeah. Well, and that's fine. That's okay. They won the game. Guys, they won the game. They won the game. But I'm just my facts. My fact is if you're going 3 and out, right, and you're not extending the drive, that gives the other team more opportunities to score. It's just factual things.
And your defense is tired.
So if
technically,
if Jalen Hurts was in the game, he extends drives and creates that clock management type of thing, so they weren't able to score as much. Now, with that being said, I don't see them scoring 5 touchdowns. I just don't see him throwing for 5 touchdowns. So if he doesn't, then what?
It's a good point. And to go back to your earlier point about, controlling the clock, that's what we do, right? We run the football, we control the game, and we play good defense. Now, in that second meeting, not that the second meeting is relevant now, Commanders fans, because in the playoffs, everything's different. But in that second meeting, we did win the time of possession. The problem was we had Kenny Pickett, we were settling for 3 instead of scoring touchdowns. Like, that's what he means by, you can't take a third down and not convert it. Yeah, we might have won the time of possession, but we weren't converting third downs. And when we were in the red zone, we were kicking field goals. When you have Jalen Hurts on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, y'all know what's coming. And we couldn't run that play. We couldn't, you had Kenny Pickett, who did a decent job in the pass game, but at the end of the day, he's still a backup quarterback that had no time at practice that week. And it's not an excuse. You guys beat us fair and square in a game that was honestly meaningless. So congratulations, you got that. Now it's the playoffs. This game matters. The winner of this game goes and plays for the big one. So let's see what happens in this one.
See, another point. I'll let you go, right, Bird Gang. Another point to make in that is another way that they can beat us is if it comes down to Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott, last game that we played them, how many field goals did he miss? Did he miss 2?
2.
Yeah, he missed 2 field goals last game. That's 6 points coming off of the board, right? So with that being said, we add that 6 points, it's 39-36, right? So, I mean, we still win that ball game if we were to kick that. We're talking about a lot of ifs here, but I'm just saying now if that's not the case anymore, right? If that's not the case anymore, then how do you beat us? You can't say that your defense is better than the Rams. I think we played the best defense in the NFC thus so far that we're playing against. And in the Rams, I think that was the toughest game. Number 2, the toughest game because it was snowing in that game. And that's one thing that we didn't bring up was the climate conditions, the control of the game, and how everybody was losing the ball. It was an even playing field for both teams in that game, and the Rams played a hell of a game in those type of conditions. That being said, it's going to be snowing the day before and the day after. It's not going to be snowing the day of that I know of thus so far. But with that is you're still coming into the link. It's still going to be cold as hell. And I still know that JD5 is a rookie. So how he deals with that is going to tell everything that you need to know. But this only makes him better. I gotta give it to where it needs to be given. And that's straight to JD5 has got the best experience as a rookie quarterback than anybody else because he's been in the playoffs now. He's gotten further than Dak Prescott.
And say that again. Hold on. Say that again.
He's got further than Dak Prescott.
Cowboys, what is going on?
He's got further than Daniel Jones. Like at the end of the day, we cannot take that away from JD5. And what that is going to do for him is he's being able to play in those big games. Now we can say he ain't going to be Sam Darnold, right? He knows how to play in those big games, and we've seen that from him. Somebody said Dak Prescott is buns. But listen, at the end of the day, this just makes him better. Win, lose, draw, tie, don't matter. Well, there ain't no ties, but win or lose, this is going to make him a better quarterback in the future. Not next year, but the following years after that. I don't know what their cap space is. That's a Mark thing. Usually,
they have a lot.
They got. I think they got close to 100 million. I think they got.
They have $92 million in cap space.
92.
Yeah, and I know Devontae Adams showed some interest of Scary Terry's willing to give up 17. We'll see if they get that fixed. But
and receptions, he's gonna have to give up some catches too.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. But your thought process on that before we move on, and then we'll go to Dice Will.
I think at the end of the day, I think you made a very good point. Is that our defense has to get off of the football field. He threw for 5 touchdowns because our defense was on the field for 85% of the second half. And the crazy part is, and I tell people this, if you go look, they only beat us by 3 points with a backup quarterback. 3 points.
That wasn't even ready.
Yeah,
that wasn't even ready.
They act like they blew us out. If you talk to any Commander fan, they act like they beat us by 20 points.
Hey, Devontae Smith catches that football, it's game over. Believe that.
Game's over. Exactly. That was going to be my next point. So I think we have to get off the field on third down. You cannot allow any explosive plays to De'Ami Brown. I think Quinyon Mitchell will be fine. I'm more worried about Darius Slay. Darius Slay, he's older.
He's been showing up in the playoffs though.
Yeah, he's been locked in.
Last game,
He's been locked in the playoffs.
He locked in.
I guess it's me because as me being the football fan that I am, I hate the fact that Vic Fangio allows them to play 10 yards off the ball. You do not understand. You're giving this man a free release, and you're not. Bro, I would run a hitch route all the way down the field until somebody came up to press cover. But it is what it is. I think that we can't allow the explosive play to De'Ami Brown. We have to get off the field. And the other person I think that is the X factor on that offense is Austin Eckler. They will start throwing those screens to him, and that boy will take off and make that 5 yard that could have been a loss. He'll turn it into a 20-yard gain. So I think our defense has to be sound this week. It has to be sound.
And I think we will, because we've seen that with the Rams, right? The best people to do it is Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams. So I think we'll be ready for that. The other thing that we need to, before I let Dice take over, the other thing that I think we need to keep a close eye on is I believe right off the gate, Washington is going to put a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts to check his leg, to see what he could do, what he could do if he could scramble and really get a gauge on what that leg looks like. So look out for that as well. And then for him to make good decisions, throw away that football and attack that RPO as much as you can.
Hey, real quick, first play of the game, I'm calling it right now, is going to be a QB draw.
That could happen.
And usually I'd be like, bro, you're crazy, but you're probably right.
It's either that or he throws it to AJ.
Yeah,
it's either that or he gets AJ involved real early.
Yeah. I just think it's more of and I said the quarterback draw just because of the simple fact it's going to be, hey, I may have this injury, but I'm still willing to run the football. And I think it's gonna open up the RPO even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. If they do that, that will back them up. That'll back them up. So I can see why that could be. I don't know if I would call that the first play of the game, but that would be smart. But I don't know. I think the fact that AJ hasn't really had a good playoff yet, I think they get him involved real early with he's really good at the slant. So I think they throw a quick slant to him, and then they get it going. They get it going that way. But that would be smart as hell if they start with a QB draw. I ain't gonna lie. Go ahead, Dice Will, before we get to these last two questions, because the last two are quick.
Yeah, like I said before, you guys already hit almost all the key points. But like I said, it's just like we're seeing like a Disney movie. He's like the rookie there at this point, going against the biggest team that we are already seen. He's done it before. Could he do it again? But it's only because it's going to be an upset if he does do it again. You got to worry about Eckler going off, and you got to worry about Jaden if they run a zone, he's gonna want to run easily. So you got to run like a zone blitz or something to where he's thrown off to where like he may run and then all of a sudden he gets smacked and then he may not run anymore again. But that's the only way to keep him off that.
And with that spy, that's a good point. With that spy, I like Burks. I like Burks to cover in that spy.
Burks is athletic enough.
I like Burks, but I think that JD5 is so fast. That's why I think putting another corner out, and I do not put Avonte Maddox on the football field. I would almost put Isaiah Rodgers as that 6 DB.
Oh, I definitely would. I'd either put Isaiah or I'd put Sidney Brown.
Yeah,
I would put Isaiah Rodgers in coverage and then let Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, that's solid.
You could do that. You could do that too.
Yeah, because Cooper DeJean is quick. He'll get to him fast. Yeah.
Yeah, but
he was just as quick as Jamar Chase when Jamar Chase got that behind
Zay got 4.3 speed, dog. He'll get there.
Yeah.
He'll get there.
Yeah. Either way, we got to figure that out. We got to figure that out, how to not stop them, but contain them for sure.
Yeah,
right. I mean, it's going to be hard.
It's not saying that this is like a Disney movie because Jaden's done his thing, but it's just like that's what it is right now. It's like you got to figure out a way to stop him when it comes out. He's fully for so he's really recovered from the ribs mostly, and then you got to worry about Hurt, and they're going to go on the knee on Hurts. because they saw what happened in that game. So they're gonna see, like, is he gonna be able to move like he's supposed to now that they got Hurts?
Hey, one other thing too I seen. We got the ref on our side this week too.
Oh, perfect. About damn
That
time.
guy, I can't remember what his name is. Is it Ed Hockley? I think he's every game that he's refed for Philadelphia.
7-0 or something like that, or
6-0. Yeah, 6-0.
6-0. Yeah.
I mean, well, I never put stock in arrests, but sure, I'll take all the help we can get.
I mean, at that point, 6-0 is like crazy, like, you know.
It's like the dude over in Kansas City.
And we're 6-0 in the divisional round when we make it.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah. But at the end of the day, guys, it's Washington versus the Philadelphia Eagles in the link this time. Our fans are going to be ready. Our players are going to be ready. I have no doubt in my mind. One key thing that I would look out for is the fact that we just released KJ. That only tells me as a NFL analyst and a person that looks into these type of things that BG could be on his way back. So I would keep an eye. Yeah, it's a very slim chance. But if he's not back for the NFC Championship, I could see him back in the Super Bowl for sure. Just for the fact that those moving parts of why would we get rid of an edge rusher if we don't have somebody, you know, to replace that, and that would be BG. So keep an eye on that. That's just a little excitement for everybody on here. But let's get through these last two, man. We got 6 minutes, so let's get through these last two. NFC Championship, AFC Championship. Who are our final picks? We only can pick two. Let's start with Dice. Remember, Dice, we're not picking WWE people, Tiger Woods.
I know.
Go ahead. Who do you got? Let's start with the Bills versus the Chiefs. Who do you got?
I got the Bills, man. Everybody is actually rooting for the Bills at this point because it's all like they've been saying already. It's like the Avengers, like every team that lost is rooting against them, and we're going for it because the Chiefs are inevitable at this point. That Patrick Mahomes is inevitable at this point to make it to the AFC Championship every year. He's made it every year since he's walked in here. So we're all trying to see the Bills finally get there and get past that. They've played them 3 times. It's like seeing Curry and LeBron go at it again each year. This is is that one of those last times. Like, can they get past this hump and finally get to a Super Bowl that they're supposed to get to?
Okay, this next question, you're gonna have to be very, very careful because there's 3 birds in the live. Okay, so be very, very quick. I know you like riding with JD all year long and all the way up until this point, but remember, there's 3 birds in here, so we flock together. Anyways, who you going with? You going with Philadelphia? You going with the Philadelphia? You going with the Philadelphia Eagles or the Washington Commanders?
As much as I love how Jane Daniels has gone through this thing, and he did have the easier route, but he still has shown that he can play. Regardless of the easy route, he still has shown he can play. You can't deny that from him. But I still take Eagles in it because they have a
right you are. You are.
Let's go.
They've been there before, so they know what to do when it comes to this time like this. You have Jalen back, so even though he has this knee injury, he still can fight back through it because we saw how he did in the snow through it as well. Anyway, you got Saquon Barkley going against their defense, which he hasn't been stopped from any other defense, so it's not anything at this point. He's going for Terrell Davis' title as it is already now as it is. He could get it.
He's only 145 away. He's only 145 away. Yeah, he's 145 away. And I think
they could give it to him in this game.
He's gonna break it in this game. He's gonna break it in this game.
Definitely break it. The only thing
go ahead.
The only thing that could make it is if there's a sudden flop. I'm not saying this will happen or anything else. I'm not saying that it should happen or anything like that. If somehow Jalen Hurts gets hurt or something happens to the defense, something like that, or Slay doesn't get to a pass fast enough from Robinson and everything else, then there could be some things that could happen. But we don't know because it's playoffs. You got to turn that extra engine and see what happens.
Chat's going crazy with this question. I I just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyways, Bird Gang. Okay, let's go. Bills, Chiefs. Who do you got?
I've been calling it, man. I think this is the year that the Bills do it. I think they get over the hump, man. I think
Over this hump.
Yeah, they got to get over it, man. If they don't get over it this year, I don't know. I don't know what else the Bills can do. I just think that Josh Allen's playing at an all-time high right now. I mean, the Chiefs secondary isn't very well. I will say I do like – I think it's going to be hard for them to run the ball because I do like Kansas City's linebackers. I like Bolton. I like Calais. I like Chanel. I think that they run and play physical.
For sure.
I think it's going to come down to – I love Chris Jones. I mean, him and Jalen Carter, you could say are 1A and 1B as defensive tackle. But I think it's going to come down – it's going to come down to who controls the line of scrimmage. I don't even think it's going to come down to the quarterback. I think whoever gets the bigger push up front and can hold up in protection – I think is going to win the football game.
Yeah. Okay. And who do you got? Now, be careful. There's 2 birds and a Charger fan. You got the Philadelphia Eagles or you got the Washington Redskins. Or
listen, there's one thing I don't do, and I don't play with my food. I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles going to play with their food. I think this is about to turn into a BTA. I think that you're going to see – I think it's going to turn into –
That's a bar.
Put that on a T-shirt right now. Hey, get her on the phone. Get our lady on the phone.
Hey, yeah, put that on the shirt, man. I need that copywritten. But I think it's gonna. I honestly think that you're gonna see a lot more out of Jalen. And the only thing that really concerns me is there's 2 things: is the Kellen Moore play concepts on the passing routes.
I agree.
And Jalen Hurts, if you could throw the ball away, Jalen, if you're watching me, look me in my eyes. Throw the ball away. Don't not. That's what I'm saying. You got to. I'm rolling with my boys, man. I'm not. I will never, ever bet against the Philadelphia Eagles in a football game. I don't care what game it is. You know, every year I look at the schedule and I'm like, man, we could lose this game. We about to win all these games. They're in my head, but I know it's not realistic. You know what I mean? It's football.
Yeah, I got you. Sunshine, going to you, my guy.
Sunshine.
Who do you got?
Sunshine.
Bills or the Chiefs?
Let me just sit up so I can talk to the chat. Chat, listen. Josh Allen has been absolutely incredible this year. He's been Superman. He's worn the S on his chest because he's had to. He's got no one really over there to help him. Although Dalvin Cook has had a great year. The rookie, whatever his name is, Keon Coleman, has had a good year. They went and got my man Amari Cooper in acquisition. He's had a good year. He's still going into Kansas City. He's still going to the king of the castle. Okay? We got to remember, Patrick Mahomes runs the AFC. For the past 2 years, what did they said in Kansas City? Kansas City's season doesn't start till the AFC Championship. They have been absolutely incredible on defense. Okay? These guys are that's the best remaining defense in the AFC. Patrick Mahomes is still the king over there. Kier 4, I know you're in here listening. So listen to me when I say this. Patrick Mahomes got all his guys now. He's got Hollywood Brown back. He's got Isaiah Pacheco. He's got Travis Kelce. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. But it does not matter. It does not matter. Josh Allen is going to finally end the streak. He's going into Kansas City, and he's taking care of business. Give me the Bills. Dang it.
We need the Undertaker sound on that part.
King of the refs.
He's coming in.
Damn it. Give me the Bills. This is the year.
Yeah, Fusion said king of the refs. The Bills.
Talk to him, Fusion. Talk to him. Give me those Bills.
Okay. So yeah. Philadelphia Eagles. Now remember, there's a bird down here. There's a Charger fan right there. All right, so be careful. Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to mince words here. I love the soundbite that my man Bird Gang gave us. We're done playing with our damn food. Okay. The Commanders, they've been on this beautiful high since they've been winning these games. They're new to this table. They're brand new to this table as of late. Okay, they like winning. I get it. You guys have defied all the expectations. You know, you were a 4-win predicted team, and you're a game out from the Super Bowl. Congratulations. The dream dies this weekend because you headed to the toughest place on earth to play a football game. You're going to the link. You're playing the best defense you will have seen up until this point that you would see, period, in the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Carter, the thing that lives under your bed, the monster that goes bump in the night, he will be in on a hurt right tackle, a new right tackle, to say the least. Jalen Carter eats. Jalen does it what needs to be done. Hurts will go and take care of the game. Saquon, if you're watching this, Big Bunnies Barkley will go over 130. And I will see A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith get into this game. Guys, we're not playing with our food no more. Y'all are going to see what could have happened in that second game. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles to take care of business.
Yeah,
we got a Super Bowl to compete for.
Yeah, that's right. You're ready. You guys already know. So I'm going to start with the Bills and the Chiefs. I'm going to make this real simple, real clear. As much as I love to see the Bills in it, it's just difficult for me to go with the Bills to seeing how the way that they played against the Ravens. I think the Ravens was the best chance of beating the Chiefs. But at this point, you're going against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, that defense. I think the defense does enough to slow Josh Allen down. And as much as in my soul I want to go with the Bills, I just think it's one of those games again. I wish I had one, but I don't.
We got to get a prop.
Yeah, we got to get a prop. But it's going to be one of those games where it's just going to cost them because that's what they want to see. They want to see that damn back in it. It's a good storyline for a three-peat to compete for and to compete for a dynasty. I'm not going to drag this thing on. I'm going to go with the Chiefs, but I'm praying that the Bills prove me wrong. Please, Bills, prove me wrong, and I'll stand in the paint.
That's solid.
Now we got Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders.
Hey, be careful.
I know.
That a Chargers fan.
2 Eagle fans and a Chargers.
Be careful. Be careful.
All right.
Use your words carefully.
Lightly.
Okay. I'm gonna say this and not be biased, okay, guys. So bear with me, okay. I'm gonna take the hat off. I'm eventually take the hat off and give you guys the reason why. But you guys gotta really listen to me, right? So Washington has played against the Bucks, and the Bucks was our kryptonite, guys. Like the Bucks would beat us and things like that. JD5 went in there and they did what they needed to do, and they won that game. Then they went to Ford Field and they played against the strongest team they said in the NFL with Jared Goff, and they beat them 45. They put up 45. I don't know if you guys knew the score, but it was 45 points, right? So when we come to this game now against the Philadelphia Eagles, one thing we do know is Philadelphia Eagles, they play really well. You know, they have the number 1 defense. All the stuff that you guys said was all right and all that. But Washington does have a strong defense, guys. Like Louisville, you know, Frankie. You guys know Frankie. He's good.
Frankie.
He's good. Jaden Daniels extends plays. And that's good. That's going to be hurtful if we see him extend plays. And that's the reason.
Right.
And the reason Scary Terry's scary, guys. Like he's scary. And I gotta be real with you, Bird Gang. I know it hurts, bro. It hurt. And I know, Sunshine, this is crazy for me to say this. But I ain't gonna say nothing that you didn't know. There's Philadelphia Eagles in this thing. Come on now, give me the Eagles because they haven't played nobody like us, and they haven't played against a number 1 damn defense. They haven't played against a guy who could go over 200 yards and probably gonna go over 200 again. Come on now, give me the Philadelphia Eagles and quit playing with us. We out here to hunt. You think it was bad the last 2 games? This game is gonna be worse.
Jalen got
Wait
something
on
to
us.
prove. Jalen got something to prove.
I can't. Boy, Thursday gonna drag by. I can't wait.
You got me hyped up. Who we fighting? Nah,
Hey, chill,
Ready.
bro. It's all
Ready.
love, dog. It's all
Ready.
love.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Nah,
He would have put
Hold
on
on.
jersey, get in the field.
hold on. All right, we back. No, but that's our show. Thank you guys for joining us. We got a lot of love over here. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the likes.
Appreciate you
on
guys, man.
TikTok.
Thank you.
We don't want
Thank you for being on
another
TikTok.
three-peat. They said no. I will not want to be back again. I will not watch football if the Chiefs will win. They'll ruin the game. They'll try to box in Saquon and try to force Hurts to throw. They want the Bills, and I don't want to scroll up, so that's what I got on the screen for up there. But thank you for the gifts. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining us here. Again, go follow Bird Gang. Go follow
Go
Bird Gang
check
on
Gang
TikTok.
out. Let's go. Run it up.
Yeah, you gotta go
Check
follow
out, man.
him. He's gonna be with us.
Give him to a
He's gonna be
give him
with
to a
us in
million.
rotation. I'm gonna try to talk him into rotation, get him up in here. We also, you guys know Sunshine. He's our senior VP. I don't know if you guys knew that. He's our senior VP of the Sports Lounge Media. Dice down there controls the media group. Thank you again for the likes. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for everything. This is going to be an incredible AFC NFC championship. Don't miss it because we won't. And tune in with us next week when we talk about the Super Bowl. We're going to probably try to get as many people we can fit on this damn screen next Wednesday. So super excited about that. But again, follow us next week. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. I love you. I appreciate